Black Beauty by Anna Sewell. Read by Jack Pinder. The first place I can well remember was a large pleasant field with a small lake in it. Large trees stood around the lake, and water lilies grew at the deep end. Over the trees on one side, we looked toward a farm. On the other side, we would see a gate that led to our master's house. While I was young, I lived upon my mother's milk, as I could not eat grass. I ran by her side in the morning and afternoon, and at night I lay down close by her. When it was hot, we would stand in the shade of the large trees. When it was cold, we would stay in a small wooden building by the small trees. As soon as I was old enough to eat grass, my mother used to go out to work as soon as it was daylight and come back in the evening. There were 6 young male horses on the field besides me. We used to run together round and round the field as fast as we could go. Sometimes we played rather roughly. They would often bite and kick, as well as run. One day, when there was a good deal of kicking, my mother called me to come to her, and then she said, "Pay attention to what I'm going to say to you. The male horses are very good horses, but they are young, working horses and have not learned the rules. You have been well born and well raised. I hope you will grow up gentle and good and never learn bad ways. Do your work with a good will, lift your feet up well when you walk, and never bite or kick, even in play." I've never forgotten my mother's advice. I knew she was a wise old horse, and our master thought a great deal of her. Our master was a good, kind man. He gave us oats and a good place to live. He spoke as kindly to us as he did to his little children. We were all fond of him, and my mother loved him very much. When she saw him at the gate, she would cry with joy and walk up to him. He would pat and stroke her, and say, "Well, old pet, and how is your little darky?" I was black, so he called me Darky. Then he would give me a piece of very good bread. Also, old Daniel looked after the horses, and was just as gentle as our master, so we were well off. When I was 4 years old, Squire Gordon came to look at me. He examined my eyes, my mouth, and my legs, and I had to walk and run before him. He seemed to like me, and said, "When he has been well trained, he will do very well." My master said he would train me himself because he did not like me to be scared or hurt. Horse training means to teach a horse to learn to wear a saddle and bridle, to carry a person on his back, and to go quietly, just the way the rider wishes. Besides, he has to learn to wear a collar and harness, and stand still while people put them on him. He then has to walk with a cart put behind him. He must go fast or slow as his driver wishes. He must never be startled by what he sees, nor speak to other horses, nor bite, nor kick, nor have any will of his own. I was already used to being led about the fields and lanes with reins and a head harness. Now, like all grown-up horses, I was going to have a bit and bridle. My master gave me some oats as usual. He talked to me gently, and finally put the bit into my mouth and fixed the bridle. It was a smelly thing, but I knew that my mother and all other grown-up horses always wore one when they went out. My master treated me very well, with nice oats and kind words, so I got to wear my bit and bridle. Next came the saddle, but that was not nearly so bad. My master put it on my back very gently, while old Daniel held my head. He then tightened the strap under my body, touching and talking to me all the time. After that, I was given some oats and led out for a walk. He did this every day till I began to look for oats and the saddle. My master continued to ride me a little every day, so I soon became used to it. I did not like the next step either, putting on the iron shoes. The blacksmith took my feet in his hand, one after the other, and cut away some of the hard parts of my foot. It did not hurt me, so I stood still on 3 legs till he had done them all. He then took a piece of iron the shape of my foot, and suddenly put it on my foot. Next, he drove some nails through the shoe quite into my foot, so that the shoe was firmly on. My feet felt very stiff and heavy, but in time I would get used to it. There were more new things to wear. First, I needed to wear a stiff, heavy strap just on my neck. Second, I wore a bridle with great side pieces against my eyes, so I could only see straight in front of me. Third, I had a small saddle with a smelly, stiff strap put right under my tail. I hated the strap. I never felt more like kicking. But of course I could not kick such a good master. I got used to everything in time, and could do my work as well as my mother.
Pat, pat, pat.
Stroke, stroke, stroke.
Saddle, saddle, saddle.
Cart, cart, cart.
Lane, lane, lane.
Stiff, stiff, stiff. Startle, startle, startle.
Daylight, daylight, daylight.